Senator Rubio.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank you for, and the President, for historic funding for Everglades restoration, $250 million. I hope we can continue to sustain that. It's an enormous project, an important one. I want to thank you for working with us on invasive species, which is a growing problem. And I want to also just point to something you talked about on wildfire prevention in Florida. We're very proud of how we manage our forests. Every year, we're going to burn about over 2.1 million acres, and we're going to do it responsibly. So thank you for all that. We have a very big issue in Florida that we have discussed in the past, and that is the existing but soon to expire moratorium on oil and gas leasing off of oil and gas drilling off of Florida and the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Opposition to drilling and exploration, extending and or making permanent this moratorium has unanimous support among all Floridians, both political parties at the state level, at the federal level. And the reason is really not because of energy per se, it's because of the circumstances in Florida that are very unique. You know, we have a very important military testing and training complex, the Joint Gulf Range Complex out in the Gulf, and by all accounts, without dispute, having exploration out there would absolutely undermine this critical resource for the country, but also important for Florida. The House has passed a permanent extension. I think only one member of the delegation voted against it, and it was because it was permanent. I, on the other hand, have offered or suggested a 10-year extension of the moratorium as a sort of compromise approach that provides us more certainty for the next decade. And the Chairwoman Murkowski, last year, I believe, at this very hearing, committed to working with us on this, and I thank her for that. I look forward to working with her on it. It's really important. And as a side note, my colleague from Florida, Senator Scott, and I filed a 10-year moratorium as an amendment to the energy bill that's on the floor now. We're hoping we can get some action on that. What I wanted to ask you is, as you formulate the 5-year plan for oil and gas lease sales in the United States, the law will require you to consult with state and local leaders of the affected areas. So I wanted to once again get the commitment that I believe I've gotten from you publicly and in our conversations in the past, reaffirming that you're going to talk to our local delegation, your department's going to talk to our local and state leaders and to see what they have to say about oil and gas exploration, which I know what it will be, and that those concerns are going to be taken into account as those decisions are made.
First off, the simple answer is absolutely. But as you know, and as you said, Senator, the law requires us to do that. We absolutely will do it. And it's also my personal experience that in the entire life of the Outer Continental Shelf program, that the ultimate plan didn't defer to those, I mean, always has deferred to those views. So they will be considered. I will reach out when we get to that point, absolutely.
And I thank you again. The point I always make to my colleagues is this is for Florida not really about energy independence, which I support, most of us in the delegation support. It has to do, obviously, some concern about what an accident the impact it would have on our beaches and on our tourism, but I think the overriding concern that everyone shares is the impact it would have on our Department of Defense operations in a very unique testing range, which we frankly can't replace. I mean, we just don't have anything else like it in the continental United States that we could use for a very important function. So your commitment's important. I look forward to working with your department and ensuring that all the proper input is received. And I hope that we can get action on it here in Congress, because it would provide a level of certainty that I think would be welcome in Florida and be important for Floridians.